Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby. I'm with Fitness is Medicine. Today I'm going to give you another video you can do in your home so you can keep moving and keep getting stronger and keep reaching for your goals. So remember to come into these workouts ready to move. So you've done a 5 to 10 minute warm up of some sort, walking around in your neighborhood, maybe walking on your treadmill or doing some elliptical or bike, or just walking up and down your stairs if that's what you got. So today for equipment, we're just going to use a couple things. One dumbbell and a ball or a pillow that you can squeeze. So something soft that works to squeeze, and just like a rolled up towel or something like that. So go ahead and get all of your equipment and come back ready to move. Okay. Oh, and if you have a fit ball, go ahead and grab that too. You don't need it. You can do it seated on the ground or seated on a chair, but that's another thing that you could use if you've got one. Okay, so we're going to start today on your back with a lat pull. So this is another way to work your lats, these big muscles in your back. If you don't have, bands, or if you can't pull down from a higher surface. So it's kind of, even if you do have all of that, this is another way to work those big lats, your latissimus dorsi in your back. So we're gonna lie down on your back, the classic, like I always say, your knees are bent, your feet are flat on the floor, and you're gonna think about pressing your back into the floor. So we're gonna take this weight overhead. So make sure you've picked a weight that you can manage that isn't gonna be too heavy. You can always stop and press pause and go grab a different weight if you find that what you have is too light or too heavy. Okay, so we're just going to take one dumbbell, holding it on the ends of the dumbbell, and keep your arms straight. So we're just moving our arms straight down towards the floor, our hands straight back towards the floor, trying to maintain that flat back as it goes. So as it goes back, I don't want you to arch up because that puts a lot of pressure through your low back. So you want to flatten your back to the floor, keep those abs nice and strong, protecting your back as you move backwards. This is 6, I think. And remember, you can always press pause and grab a lighter weight or a heavier weight depending on what you need. Keeping those elbows straight for this one. And also, even though your arms are going up over your head, you want to keep your shoulders down away from your ears. So you don't want to be going here and then going back. Keeping those shoulders down, keeping them in their place, and slowly lowering that weight and then bringing it back up. And one more. Good. Now, if you do have any shoulder pain with that, you can do it with bent elbows, or if you have a weight that's just a little bit too heavy. But the point is, you're not going to change the angle of your elbows. So you can do that same motion with a shorter lever, essentially. So the shorter lever makes it less intense on your joint. Okay, next we're going to stand up and do some reverse lunges. So typically I want you to do this either at a kitchen sink or somewhere where you can hang on to something sturdy. So you can either do it standing next to something, or you can do it right in front. So when you step back, you can't go forward. So like, say if this was my thing that I'm standing next to and I go back, I can't go forward because this is stopping me. So I'm not going to lean forward. That's what I want here. I want your weight to be going back. You take a big step back and then you just go straight down. So notice that this knee is still over my ankle. We're going to go back and forth, switching sides. Now you can always hold a weight in your hand. If you need a balance, you can hold a weight in one hand and use your other hand for balance. I usually recommend that so that you don't lose your balance. If you've got really good balance and you want to try holding a weight in both hands, that's great too. The other benefit of holding a weight in one hand is that it requires your core to adjust to keep you upright, even though you've got one weight either pulling you this way or trying not to compensate to pull this way. So keep alternating sides. We're going to do about 10 on each side. If you are holding a weight, switch your weight about halfway through. Or you can hold it this entire set and then make sure you hold the weight in the other hand on the next set. Okay, sorry, my power just kind of glitched. So I needed to make sure my video was still going. Oh my goodness. Okay. We've got a little snowstorm going outside, so the power's glitching a little bit. Mountain living. Okay, so I think I've got 2 more on each side. Okay, so the keys here are that you're going backwards, you're just sitting straight down. You're keeping your torso nice and tall. It's just like you're gonna like step backwards and kneel down to do something. So that's the motion. You can always make that motion smaller. If you're having a lot of hip or knee pain with this, you can also just do some weight shifts. Start with that. If the lunges are really bothering one of your joints, do some weight shifts instead. Okay, now we're gonna lower back down to the floor. You know me, I like to kind of go back and forth. And we're just gonna do a plank. This time, I'm gonna have you try it on your hands. We've done it, I think last time we did on our elbows, the last time we did one. And I'm gonna have you do little tiny marches if you can. Now, the goal with these little marches is to set your foot down quietly so you're controlling your muscles. And you're trying to keep a nice flat back. So you don't want to be, you know, kind of a rocking around. And you also don't need to lift up your legs very high. If you notice, I'm just doing tiny little marches. We're going to go for about 30 seconds here. Now, if you absolutely can't do these on your hands, you absolutely are welcome to do them on your elbows. You can do these from an elevated surface, such as a chair or a bench, and still do the little marches. You're still going to get that extra added control and extra burn in your abs and your core. Okay, next we're going to lie down on your side. Let's get this a little bit lower. And instead of doing a clamshell, what we're going to do is work your adductors in your hips. So what I want you to do is put one foot over like that, and we're going to do leg lifts underneath like this. So the under leg is lifting up. You know, the old classic, you know, the workout videos, Jane Fonda, she'd do a ton of these. But I'm going to get to those adductors. So whenever we talk about working our hips, I want your ankle to stay neutral, so your toes are just facing forward. And whatever is comfortable here for this foot, if you want to rest it on its side, you can even lay back like this if you want to, and do more like this. That might be a little bit easier, so you can kind of play with it. Either way, you're still going to get these adductors and these pelvic supporters that are so important for proper pelvic and hip health. All right, so now we're going to switch sides. So remember, you can either lie down and put one foot like that and lift up, or put one foot behind, and that's okay. Whichever feels more comfortable on your hips. And then if you do that, you can also bring this leg out just a little bit. You're still going to be working the same muscles no matter where you put this top leg. So whatever is comfortable for that top leg. But then the goal here is, it's not a very high or a big movement. It's not even up as high as my other knee. It's only raising maybe a foot off the floor. And then don't set it back down. And that's where that muscle control will come in. Okay, great. Hip adductors, working on all of those muscles in your hip joints. They all need to stay strong in order to keep supporting us and have really good hip health. Okay, Now we're gonna lie down on your tummy, and this is where the rolled up towel comes in. So when you lie down, I'm gonna have you put this on your forehead so that you can lie flat down, because when you lie down and you put your neck out to the side like this, you can really strain your neck and kind of, we don't need to do any of that. So you can just get a dish towel or a hand towel. I'm going to refresh my screen to make sure I'm on. Okay, we're gonna do snow angels. So just with our arms, our legs are just gonna be neutral here. So put your head on the towel like this so that your head stays in line with the rest of your spine. And then put your thumbs up towards the ceiling. Importantly here, you still want to keep your shoulders down through this entire range of motion. So not up here, you're bringing them back down. So on your tummy, your hands are straight overhead. You're going to lift them just off the floor and do a snow angel movement. Now this is a really large posterior chain and postural exercise. Nice and slowly. You don't have to lift up your arms very far off the floor. They're just barely skimming the carpet here. So kind of getting a full range of motion in that shoulder. If you have pain, you don't have to go all the way up here. You can stop here. You can do this range of motion, and that's okay. Keep it in your pain-free range of motion, but give this one a try. You're actually also having to stabilize quite a bit with your abs with this one. Now, you don't necessarily have to do 10 of these. You could do 5 and then rest your arms. However you need to do it to get through. And you can also just stop at 5. This is probably a pretty intense exercise if you haven't done something like this before. It really works that posterior shoulder girdle and all of those postural muscles all up and down your spine. Okay, one more time. Nice and slow, thumbs up towards the ceiling, shoulders down away from your ears. All right, very good. Now we're going to stand up and end with a balance exercise. So grab that ball or pillow that I told you about. And my goal is to stand on one foot and squeeze this ball. So we're going to get a little chest and core at the same time. So give it a good squeeze and then release. So give it a, squeeze it for a couple seconds and then release. So you're just standing on one foot, working on your balance like that. If you have trouble standing on one foot, if you're having pain, do a tandem stance or even a staggered stance. And then, kind of challenge your balance. You can even kind of rock back and forth. You can do something, but I want you to challenge your balance somewhere within there. And then we're getting a little extra chest and core in as well. So squeeze that ball. Now you're supporting yourself on that hip here. Make sure it's not jutting out to the side like that. And then also at the same time, make sure you're not hiking up like that. So you want to keep your hips level, your shoulders level, and just squeeze that ball. Or pillow, or whatever you have. Stuffed animal. Just don't squeeze your puppy. All right. Now we're going to switch sides. And if you have one hip that hurts and one that doesn't, stand on the side that doesn't hurt and then try a tandem stance with the other side, if you can, to challenge your balance. Even if you're having pain, you can still compensate a little bit with this one and try to still challenge your balance. We always want to be working on your balance. Getting a little extra chest and core here. Your arms might be getting tired, your forearms. You can really work your hands in this one too. So this is a good thing for hand arthritis. You can do this one kind of anywhere. If you're sitting on the couch, squeezing the ball, working your fingers. This is a really great one to do that's easy. Doesn't take much, doesn't take any fancy equipment. This is a playground ball I bought at the hardware store or something. Okay, good. So challenge yourself about 30 seconds on each foot and then go back through them 1 to 2 more times. Add a little cardio in between to make it a full workout and keep moving. Whatever you do, keep moving. If you need suggestions for different exercises or how to modify these a little bit differently, don't be afraid to message me and ask any questions if you need it. All right, keep moving, everybody. Thank you so much.